Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, January the 2nd. How are you doing? Good to see you, everyone. Hope your New Year's went well. The holidays are over, and here we are where we started last year. January 2nd, just different year. So how is everyone? What's going on? How is life treating you, all you good people? Looks like there's more than a few of us. Hello, Lori. Hello, Lyron. Links, good to see you. Breaking down, Dawn, good to see you. Man, just a lot of you. Material Classified, Scott, good to see you. Ellie, Cheesesteak, Phil, I5la, seeing you. Saw your video, hon. Good video. Keep to it. Michael, Jerry, Heidi, VJB, how are you doing? Sarah K, good to see you, dear. April, going to be on her show, I think 2 weeks from this Saturday, I think. Yeah, maybe, 2 weeks. Anyway, Dawn, good to see you. T. Peters, Plower, Mary, good to see y'all. Boy, JH, good to see you as well. Hey, what is that? Is that Healy Girl? Hello, how are you doing? Universal One, I salute you. Debbie, good to see you. Get the money, Jones. How are you, Peter? Hello. Wow. So, Franny, how are you? Back in school yet, kiddo? You know what? Love it. Love her. She is great. Maria, Truth Seeker, how are you doing? Brian, excellent. And there is Lois, our warrior queen. There we go. Blazing River, hello. Brian Knight, hello. Wow. So, lots of things going on. I've when I think about things, and I think about things all the time, but here, I would say, I guess from the last, I don't know, 6 months, seems that there is a pressing on the accelerator. Seems like things are coming at us pretty fast. And I mean that in a positive way. Life doesn't anyway, but just a whole way of looking at things differently. So I'm going to invoke favor upon all of you right now. And I just speak favor into your life. I speak restoration into your life. I think that this restoration that word came from another source. And if you'll look into the definition of the word restoration, and I think that's going to become so poignant in all of our paths, our journey. And so may favor and restoration walk with you in the company of peace, that may it abide supreme in your life, and may there be nothing missing, nothing broken found in your life. That which has been stolen from us, we demand a sevenfold return. Our captors have stolen from us, and I'll tell you what, even in the major religions, it says if you catch a thief, they have to return back to you that which has been stolen and compensate you. And we say sevenfold. So maybe, Franny. So we just speak that in our lives. Lot going on, eh? So warming up here in Colorado. I mean, it's 27 degrees. 20 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. So we're on the upside. You're welcome, Lori. It's what we have to do, folks. We got to speak this. And I just hope everybody will start speaking that in all of their channels, all of their communications. Let you be the first one on your block that they'll say, yeah, that's that gal, that guy. They're the ones that always invokes favor on us. I mean, how does someone, your enemy, come back on you and go, well, you've got to stop doing that? What? Invoking favor on your life? tell them that, we'll walk in the casino and not have any favor. That's what a lot of people don't have. So in any case, folks, so we're off and we are running. So I got some things pulled up before we get into the theme on this show today. Spirit wiping. Now, I'm no different than you. The only difference here is that, well, I followed a voice that awoke me a number of years ago, about 4 years ago now, when literally it was an audible voice in March and said that there would be a platform given. Yeah, right. So, you begin to think, now, wait a minute, is this a flashback? I don't remember even going there. So how could I have a flashback going? Unless I'm time traveling, maybe. I mean, is the spirit? Here's the question, folks. We have got to be honest with ourselves. So many are struggling and trying to determine, well, what religion, what ideology, what philosophy do I choose? I say, why do you have to choose at all? I mean, the fact that if you have to say that we have to choose, that's being subjugated. That's not a free, true spirit. I mean, I'm of the class that I know I don't have to make a choice. I challenge that. And I believe that this is the first step in making a map. And tomorrow, our show is going to be titled, We're Going to Build a Map, all of us. A map that all of us can use when it's our time. But getting back to the question of the day, are you a spirit? Yes, no. No in between. No, 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 no. That's intellectual and spiritual dishonest. Are you, aren't you? Now, if you aren't, all right. The conversation is moot, it's endless, and it's meaningless to go forward. However, if you, in fact, do believe that you are spirit, I am creator, I am source. Now, let's continue on this. If you believe you are spirit, then that directly implies that you are immortal. If you are immortal, you have no beginning, you have no end. And now my question then becomes, is a spirit created good or bad? I mean, we get so tripped up on that, don't we? Evil spirits. Wait a minute, were they created that way? So if a person is created evil, why would they ever want to reform? It would be counter to their nature, to their creation. You see where that argument begins to spin out of control? And the minute you put but in there, you know what I tell you? Don't talk to me with a but. I don't need your but. You don't need my but in the way. Let's make it simple. Yes, no. Pretty simple. So, I choose that I know I am spirit. I am soul. So what's happened? See, this can't be the only time. Now, I don't believe in reincarnation. I think it was hijacked. I think the truth of what incarnations are is that we developed a religion around it. And anytime you get a piece of truth that becomes suddenly a religion, you know what happened. They got it. They compromised it. And then it becomes very difficult for most to figure out the labyrinth. Very few can. They did it that way. But again, I believe something has broken. So there it is. Soul, spirit wiping. Let me help you out. I've had some people write me. I've seen some comments. You know, the great thing about a community like this, we get to read the comments. And no one, you know, I know that we have some professional psychologists, psychiatrists, those in the field of psychiatry that are amongst us. And they read the comments and they write me emails. And the diversity of thought, opinion, is as diverse as there is with the sands on the ocean, on any beach. It's quite remarkable. And that in itself, folks, merely validates we've been here before. I don't like the idea. I think it sucks. But someone said, I don't have anything that would lend me to think that I had a past life. I agree. I understand that. I was in that camp for decades. Would have been able and could still argue and defend it in excellence. However, as things so often are, most of us do not have much or all of the information. Now, if we are an immortal being, okay, in a body, get that, folks, I get it. Now, something's up. The fact that we have such a diversity, number one, of thought and opinion, two, that we cannot, no one can sit here and quantifiably show you our beginnings. And people say, well, I don't even remember anything. They don't even, I've tried, there's nothing there. Yeah, that's just it. It's probably one of the most clever disguises, mirages. We all know what a mirage is. So do me a favor, stop what you're doing and just close your eyes. Close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to mentally picture a mirage. You're in a desert and you're on a 2-lane black asphalt road. And as you're looking down, you swear all you see is water as it waves on the horizon. You see that? Keep focused in on that. I'm going to teach you something. Focus in on that mirage. Look at it. Begin. Do you see the mountains in the background of that? How many are you with me right now? You see the mountains in that background? And it just looks like that, you know, it's that heat wave that you see. Now, if you continue to go forward, you're eventually going to come up against that image. And some of us, for most of us, we see it as a boundless arena, shape, no end. How can there be a before when I can't even figure out what now is? Well, as a computer programmer and one who developed systems, every system has, for the developer, his or her own little DNA, I call it. Back door, side door, under door, top door. So many of our kind we get these memories, we get these flashes. You know, I have over here on my whiteboard, and I've left it up there, and you can see it. Why no mental progress in 10,000 years of recorded history? Why are we not telepathic superstars? Why are not we using telekinesis to a level that we know we have the inherited ability? It leaks out in many different forms, many different avenues, whether it be psychic healers, seers. The list goes on. In every religion, telekinesis, telepathy is incorporated and directly implied. I think I know the answer now. Because if we ever did, we'd spring the lock. If we have those abilities, then the past is no longer a blank canvas. And our problem is that we have been conditioned to limit ourselves in our understanding and perspective of what life is by thousands of years, maybe at most tens of thousands. But it's incredulous for us to even begin to think quadrillions of years. Well, that's just insane, Wayne. Really? Just because you got some knucklehead that says that they're a scientist that telling you that they can measure what light is, they can measure the amplitude, sunshine, that's not the top. They're just getting into the door. They're in nursery school. That's where we are. We can't even define our spirits, much less define space. But we'll argue about that and all of its religiosity and philosophical merits. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, folks, the accelerator is down. So we're going to continue the book and the reading of the alien interview. But before we get there, let's take a look at something. I wanted to show this up, particularly with our friends over there in Europe, because, folks, you're about to get spanked. This is Earth Null School. This is the polar vortex. Folks, this is a weird one. I tell you, I've seen bifurcated vortexes. This is pretty rare when you start. This shouldn't be this way, number one. Our normal northern polar vortex at this time of the year should be a defined area going around here. But here you go. So here's the United States. You can see why it was so bloody cold here. But you folks here over in Europe, yeah, look what's here right up above you folks over here in the Scandinavian country. I mean, this thing is going to get brutal in Europe. You're going to see this in the headlines. Many of you already know this, but there you go. This is why, and this is what you can see at this time of year from the southern hemisphere. Very calm. Yeah. Anyway, get ready. We'll continue to check this out as we see the strangest triple vortex. There you go. You'll see this in the news. Very quickly, there's something going out there, folks. I don't know what it is. Well, apparently, neither does the World Health Organization or the CDC. The CDC seems to be very tight-lipped. But folks, something's out there. It's virus. and it's paralyzing kids. Here's another one. New York Post. Researchers fear mysterious polio-like illness may spread to the U.S. Yeah. The Ebola thing is really becoming a problem. Here's something. Newsflash. UW study. Meditation, exercise could help ward off colds and flus. And they call us crazy, huh? I mean, come on, folks. We've been saying it, what, for how long? Meditation will cure what ails you. Why? Because we know as we bring down the stress, increase the vibration, body digs it. Damn, it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. So anyway, there you go. This one is a weird one. This is Reuters, excuse me, Reuters. There you go. Folks, this is right out of Star Trek. Google wins U.S. approval for radar-based hand motion sensor. So a Google unit won approval from the U.S. regulators to deploy a radar-based motion sensing device known as Project Soli. The Federal Communications Commission said in an order late on Monday that it would grant Google a waiver to operate the Soli sensors at high power levels than currently allowed. The FCC said the sensors can also be operated aboard aircraft. So what are we talking about here, right? I'm going, all right, you've exempt this thing, you've approved it, even to be on a airline? It says a Google spokesman goes that the decision will serve the public's interest by providing for innovative device controls featuring using touchless hand gesture technology. A Google spokeswoman did not immediately comment on Tuesday, citing the New Year's Day holiday. The FCC said the Soli sensor captures motion in a three-dimensional space using a radar beam to enable touchless controls of functions or features that can benefit users with mobility or speech impairments. Are you ready for this, folks? Google says the sensor can allow users to press an invisible button between the thumb and index finger or a virtual dial that turns by rubbing a thumb against the index finger. The company says that even though these controls are virtual, the interactions feel physical and responsive, as feedback is generated by a haptic sensor of fingers touching. Google says the virtual tools can approximate the precision of natural human hand motion, and the sensor can be embedded in wearables, phones, computers, and vehicles. Sounds absolutely far freaking out, doesn't it? I can see the upside to this, but I also see this as a mere transgression of transcendence into transhumanism. Had one of our community members send this in. First living tissue, 3D, printed in space aboard the ISS. By the way, for those of you who have maybe not been following the story is that there is a saboteur above on the ISS. Anyway, so using the Orgonaut, a 3D bioprinter designed for microgravity, Russia has become the first country to print living tissue in space. After a December 3rd cargo delivery to the ISS, cosmonaut Oleg, I think that's Konikio, completed an experiment with the machine in the Russian sector of the station. You see, they got sectors up there, successfully producing human cartilage tissue and a rodent thyroid gland. Folks, yeah, it's changed, my friends. It's changed. You know what? If the system isn't broken, I don't think this stuff would be going on. We would still be regressed as we were. And we're going to get into the reading here, but this is something else that's got to go on. This was one story I found interesting, that people apparently are absolutely convinced Armageddon is here. You don't think AI is sentient? You don't lie or deceive if you're merely a machine. This clever AI hid data from its creators to cheat at its appointed task. This is on TechCrunch. Check it out. Folks, the proverbial, how should we say, excrement is hitting the fan. Chinese laser gun with burned flesh that can burn flesh from a half a mile away, perfect for assassins. I mean, you feel like the Jetsons yet, huh? All right, this one is weird, folks. So China has built a land mass radio net bigger than the size of New York City. It's the wireless electromagnetic method, we call WEM, project that took 13 years to build, but researchers said that it was finally ready to emit extremely low frequency radio waves known as ELF waves. Now, we know that these waves have been linked to cancer. Why? What's up? What's going on? I mean, look at the size of that array. I mean, we're sitting here in the group W bitch going, what? Yeah, I don't know. Do you get does this give you the warm and fuzzies? Finally, rise in UFO sightings. Oh, look at here, breaking news. Rare triple polar vortex to trigger heavy snow across the UK in January. Well, they're watching our show then. Isn't that just wonderful? So, my question then becomes this, folks. What is, in fact, going on? I mean, something's going on. Something's going on. Laser weapons. Computer programming's lying, deceiving. I don't know. I mean, you have to admit this is just getting more bizarro every day. And I don't care what planet you're living on. Integrated to this one. Something's going on. So we're about to get into continuing the reading that we had on, we started this before, I guess, the holidays got fully engaged. So spirit wiping. I know it sounds weird, but it's the only answer. And here's my logic as to why I've come to this conclusion. No religion is the right religion. Christians, you are wrong. Jewish people, you are wrong. Muslims, you are wrong. Hindus, you are wrong. Taoists, you are wrong. Buddhists, you are wrong. I'll just go, Satanists, you're wrong. All of them are wrong. You know why they're all wrong? Because if one was right, the whole thing collapses. That's why there is no right religion. Never has been, never will be. No God has ever manifested itself before a human being, much less humanity. None. And we've got to realize this. Our species truly is the species that are slaves. We're amnesiacs. We make up gods to try to figure out how the hell we got here. Why are we here? And which appears that we keep freaking coming back. Now, I think it's BS when I hear people saying that they were this royalty, that royalty. Again, I think the vast majority of us were nothing more than the shit carriers of the guards and those that we are prisoners with. It's just the take. Now, maybe in fact there are those among us who are of a certain elite class. We don't know. Because it appears every freaking time you die, this is what happens. You're hit, wiped. Yeah. Remember, Jay? Look in the device. Yeah. So, I keep asking this question. Now people have their ideas, and I respect everyone's idea. Where's the spirit dwell? If it's not the brain, and don't tell me it's a heart chakra and all the rest of it, folks, you got to get over that. Not saying it doesn't aid. This body is a electrical, mechanical unit. And it has a certain polarity. It's what chakras do. Helps you line up those polarities. But it's not the answer. It's just part of the operator's manual on this. And if we figure that one out, then we got it. But it appears we know we can wipe the memory out of any human being. They can take you right now and within a week return you back, and you're going to be an empty vessel. Well, unless they put something in you to fill in the space. Electrical shock can wipe your memory out. Wipe you out. Just like that. You no longer exist. Is it the same spirit? Are you the same soul? Why can't you remember? Yeah. Oh, we got better ways to do it now. That's why so many can't remember. I would say the most people that suffer from mental illness, psychosis, phobias, it's because their spirit has been so brutalized, wiped so many times, that the fragments cannot be wiped. The system is breaking down. That's why we're seeing more and more manic episodes amongst the general population. Your brain is, by scientific definition, generates an electromagnetic field and an electrical current. Sounds like spirit to me. So the question becomes, why a light? Why? As I said at the beginning of this, why the freak do I have to make a choice at all? I mean, should there be a light at all? I mean, is this something that can't be resisted? Because I'm convinced that's where the wiping takes place. You think it's going to be your reward, the one that you're holding back on and desperately hoping for. You're hoping that this is heaven, that you will not have to face this kind of nonsensical talk. Yeah. The question that I asked, do all paths lead to the same exit point? No matter where you go, you're still going to end up in the same place. A portal or forced subjugation? Why? Why the light at all? Again, why do I have to subject myself to this? Why do you? When you look at this, the only conclusion that has been is that we've been raped and either sold or forced into eternal damnation of slavery. People don't want to believe this. They want to believe that the earth is all full of flowers and unicorns and fairies, and the whole time, even they are in the prison. Oh, we don't want to think that. No, that's too negative. No, that's part of the trap. Anytime a sentient spirit is forced to do other than anything that it did not create itself, that's forced rape and subjugation. Most often it appears to be a lower level spirit being. Excuse me, I got out of that too quick. I didn't mean to do that. Well, anyway, in fact, let me go back in here, because I think the last slide really does ask the question. I mean, the question I have, well, I guess I'm not there anymore, is that I think there's a way out. I really do. Something happened. I don't know what. Maybe we did it inadvertently with all the nuclear testing. I think is exactly what we did. I think we disabled the net in this quadrant of space. And because, whereas we begin to read what Ariel says to us, if the old regime has in fact been defeated in this quadrant of space, then they don't have very many operatives here. And I still think the system works as we go through. It's designed that way. I think it's complicated. I keep on getting in my states of meditation that I think whoever they are, it has to do with frequencies. Frequencies are harmonics. Harmonics begin to lead into electrical variations, variations of tone, charge. Yeah. So it's affected me. I mean, it really has. I've been searching for so long. I hear Chicago in my head. I've been searching. Yeah. So haven't we all, though? I mean, there's nearly 500 people watching this right now. And I don't know how many in the chat. It's going like a spinning wheel, but we've all been searching, folks. Virtually all of us have come to the same conclusion. We've looked at religion, we followed it diligently, we began to find gaps, holes, and then we began to search in other avenues, and we begin to add to our consciousness as we begin to see other faiths, other philosophies, other ideologies coming in. And yet here we are. And for myself, I mean, I've got nearly 3 years of videos I've been doing. And I documented the thing that, why is it that we have amnesia? I've asked that question in numerous videos. It doesn't make sense. And if we are, in fact, gods, as every religion says we are, then why are we bemeaning ourselves to another subjugated gods? Don't make sense. And now it seems like they're putting an electronic net over us. I think there's some operatives here from the old regime. And when you think about this 5G crap, this thing that China's doing with these low-level frequency waves, that's all entrapment, folks. It's putting another net in place. And folks, if the net does exist, which it does, many of you are viewing me on Wi-Fi, then that, folks, tells me that our spirits have to transcend it too. And that's what bothers me. I think a lot of us were getting out. But now they've got the net in a new way that we hadn't thought about before. I think the only hope that we can dare have is to have a mass coronal flare and knock the grid out and that net, because it would appear that that's what they're doing to us. I don't know how many of us escaped. I got the sense a lot of us did. And I think they went and told the others. They've sealed us back up, folks. And I know I'm going long on here, but I think that's what they did. The net was open, and there was a tear in this field, this force field, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know how many millions of us got out. I think many ISBEs are free. I think they've rejoined many of our clans. And I think that they have come up with a way. But in the interim, look what they've done to us. They've got the net over us again. And I think it impacts us more on our soul and spirit levels than what we could ever imagine. It can control our minds. We know that. And I think many of us who are spirit, many of us who will resonate with what I'm about to say. I am creator. I am one. I am one of many. I am. Think about it. But it's kind of gone in a different direction as I was intending here. But my notes, this is what I got over the last 4 days. Just looking at this, going back and looking at everything that's been done. Everything, the the huge advancements that we've made in 20 years is so unparalleled to the history of our species. This doesn't make sense. And you can take probably many different paths, but I've looked at this and I stopped and I considered as I looked at the crossroads and I began to ponder, wait a minute. Okay, I could look at this as though it was somehow some nefarious extraterrestrial demigod, demiurge that was trying to take us over. No, I don't think it's not a question about taking us over. We're already a slave race. Even the Christian Bible makes that very clear in its 2nd chapter, verse 5. There was no man to till the soil. I don't know about you. Have you ever worked out in a garden? I did as a kid. It was an acre garden. You tried, that is hard work. That's a slave. That isn't that there was no man to ponder the thoughts of the spirit or the soul into the next realm of determine if my chakra is. No, it says that you were a slave. We're still a slave. It's not a question about any ET trying to make us a slaves. We're already there. So what's happened? I mean, by preponderance of the evidence alone says that something's happened. And I still contend the late 40s and the 50s up to the 60s when we stopped atmospheric testing and then went underground. And that was just as ripping the thing still open. It's when things changed. The whole dynamics of our multicultural species changed. Views, opinions, spirituality, science, philosophy, all began to change. And in the last 20 years, the advancements we have made are unprecedented in the annals of Homo sapiens sapiens. In fact, of all Homo geniuses. You have to conclude something happened. But isn't it odd how whatever the warden is, the guards, how quickly they sold us something that we're all addicted to now. And it's making sense to me. Folks, I've got videos I've done on this. The bloodline invaders to worshiping what? I have shown you in minute detail how this is it, and it makes sense now. I'm sitting here talking to you and realizing the very videos I made was showing exactly why they did it. It wasn't for the advancement of technology. It wasn't the advancement of knowledge. Those are byproducts of the result. I think they had to build something to put a patch into the collapsed force field that has been in place for who knows? It would appear for billions, if not trillions of years. We don't even know what time it is. We don't even know what day it is. We don't even know what year it is. Do a study on that. We are a species with amnesia. It seems that these bodies, that these spirits are crammed into, that are wiped from, all of our memories, have a limited capacity of what they can store. It's why you don't remember your childhood. It's why you don't remember much of your adolescence, young, depending on your whatever, how old you may be. Some of us can in minute detail, the vast majority not, because you're not designed to carry that. You're going to get wiped again. And I think that the concentration of essence of memory that permeates the spirit requires much more power in that wiping process. Those who are empaths, intuitives, psychics, seers, healers. It's why it's becoming so much prominent now. Now, I don't know how secure this net is, but I know they're getting better at it. And they're doing it in waves. You know, the people, you know what the number one gift they said was here in America? The Google Echoes and the Alexas. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. Look how easy it's done. This is unprecedented time. And folks, we have got to wake up. We've got to work and unify with one another, regardless of what your freaking idea or opinion of spirituality or the beginning is. Fine, put it on the shelf. What we've got to begin to do is figure out a map, folks. None of us know when our card is going to be called. And if there's something that we can begin to do by building a map together, that when that moment comes, you can recall whatever cognitive resonance that's residing, that's transferred. And it very well may be that those who got out have sent the rescue parties here. We are diverse. We are not of the same species. Spiritually speaking, we are all different. Many of us are of one. There are many of us who are of many. And you can do it. There's people here that I know that can help you to do it. And if we work together, folks, we've got to become unified. If we can just find that one thing that says, I may not agree with what entirely is being said here, but you know what? I can't answer all the questions either. So because of that alone, I'm in. Let me help. Let me see what I can put forward. We got brilliant minds here. I dare say we probably have some of the greatest geniuses of the last couple trillion years. I believe that. I so wholeheartedly believe that. I believe that's why religion grabs us at such young ages. They got to. Because if we're left to begin to push beyond which they say we are not supposed to do, the fear is we become aware. And I think a lot of us are. Well, imagine. It's the reason why we're so off here in this backyard galaxy. I mean, seriously, folks. I mean, it's like being out in the middle of the freaking swamp. You're going, where the freak is everyone? I don't know. Maybe we are a stopping place in the galaxy. Who the hell knows? We can't remember our own names. Yeah, I think that this is the name, but trust me, I know my parents. And they're not where I'm at, but however it happened, I got what I got, right? So you deal with what you've been dealt with. And, many of us are going, oh, I don't like this name. Well, who does? But when you get to that point where you can begin to remember what is your spirit, that's what I'm searching for. I got a sense, folks, hear me out on this. I got a sense that if any of us begin to know our true identities, our names are as explosive in meaning as it is in power of delivery. I mean, take it like this. Hypothetical. Your name is Rockefeller. No, let's go better. Your name in your family tree that you did not know was Hughes. And all your life, the operatives did everything they could to keep you from remembering that you're a Hughes. Why? Because the day you remember your true identity is the day you inherit all the power. Tell me I'm bullshitting. Tell me. That's as real as it can get, darling. It's a fact. I think way too many of us are here because they have forgotten who they really are. And folks, I am in that camp. And I've decided I don't care what the cost. I don't care what the journey. I'm going to find this out. And I think with your help, we all can find out. So anyway, well, I guess I won't be doing the reading today. So tomorrow we'll get right into it. Well, thank you, Ephraim. That was so, so you really think, would you like to say that to my face? I'll bring you on since you think that I am spreading lies, I guess. Is that what you're saying? You see, that's the problem. You've taken a defensive position that it's so abrasive to your cognitive understanding. You got to stop that. You've got to stop that. You're trapped. Talk to yourself. Learn to discipline spirit first. There's too many undisciplined spirits. That's why we got the chaos that we have today. All right. We move on. All right, folks. Favor be unto you. Full restoration. That's what I'm talking about. I believe if we can understand and begin to know who Spirit is, that things will become much more relevant to us. And there's obviously, it represents a huge threat because they've quieted voices like this before. So let's see what we can do. Got a lot of gifted people here. All right, folks, very best to you. I'll be back tomorrow. And seriously, we're going to get into timelines from what Ariel said. And, if anything, it's a great adventure story. Just look at it like that. How many of you remember the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mystery books? Grew up on them, loved them. Why did we like them? Well, because the Hardy Boys got into the most amazing adventures, didn't they? And it allowed our spirits to go and to free and to travel. And the Nancy Drew was right there along with it as well. Control your own mind or something else will. Scott, you high five, buddy. You got it, my friend. Well, folks, be good to yourself. Listen, it gets exciting. I mean, do you ever get like you're about to meet someone who you've been wanting to meet all of your life? And when you do, you're just going to break down and start crying because this is the one thing that has driven you. That's what I feel like. I'm really building the anticipation of getting to know who Spirit is. I think just the fact that we can recognize that's a huge jumping point. All right, folks. Love it. Love it. Y'all are the best. I mean, seriously, the best. And So I'm off. So are you. And be good to yourselves. And we'll talk tomorrow at this time. Friday night got Chelsea Rose finally. We were going to do it last Friday, but my house got invited. It was so many people that the dog ran and hid. And I felt like doing that myself. So anyway, thank you all. You are the best. Namaste to all of you. Favor, full restoration. And folks, let's build the map together. All right. All right. We'll talk tomorrow at the same time, folks. Be good. All right. Bye-bye. And I'm not going to cut myself off either. I'm going to do this pose. Do the pose.